The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 42. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of outstanding women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out amazing blog articles and our killer resources. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share amazing stories of women in their inner journey to self-confidence. My name is Sheena Yap Chan, and I'll be your host for today. And today's guest, I have a special lady on today. She is from California. She is a producer, and she was also crowned as Miss San Diego 2015. So, it's pretty awesome. And, she's a lovely woman. Alan Reed. And Alan, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the time for doing this. Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Sheena. And I love what you're about and the Tao of Confidence. I think it's just really an amazing platform. As you mentioned, I produce an event, and it's called Secret Knock, where my husband is the host. And I'm also a publisher of books, and currently the reigning Mrs. San Diego for 2015. So that's in a gist about me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what is your cultural background?
My heritage is Filipino.
Awesome. I'm from the Philippines, too.
Are you? Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I was born in Cebu.
My father is from Cebu. Okay.
Oh, nice. So what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
The one I sent you on Emerson, and it's really saying success. It's a definition of success, but it's really a great compass for me. Let me pull it up for you. And basically, it goes this way. It's to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even when life has breathed easier because you have lived is to have succeeded. And that for me is a confidence quote, because this is really just what I base my life around. I think when something or situation, or if I'm in a mode where I'm measuring myself against something, all I ever do is go back to this and know I'm good. Or not good. Which one? So it's just a matter of adjustments.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And in your own words, what would be your definition of self-confidence?
It's really the freedom to be in however it is you need to be at any given time. I'm a big proponent of that one quote that says it's never too late to be who you are or you become who you want to be, because it's about permission, and it's not the one that you get from others. It's the one that you give yourself. So I think that when folks or women especially, I think we're really quite good at doing this to ourselves, is when we decide that we are going to be a certain way. It affects our confidence because it gives us permission to, one, be that thing you decided to be, but also this allows us to grow and move towards something else when the time is up.
Thanks for sharing that. And, I love that you said, it's never too late to start something, which is so true. I think as women as well, right, we're always told to do certain things, especially in Asian cultures. I mean, it's, our parents or our peers tell us, you're too old to do that. You can't do that. It's too late. And, I always believe it's never too late. I mean, especially this podcast, I literally just started this like a little over a month ago. So, anything's possible out there. Don't ever be afraid to just start something new because, age doesn't matter, right? I mean, if you have a passion and a big vision for it, I think, just go ahead and do it. So thanks for sharing that. And
of course. And congratulations on starting this.
Thank you.
And sometimes, I think people just need to give themselves to do what they feel like doing. Whether or not the passion is there, whether or not they know how it's going to turn out, but they just feel like doing it. Like if somebody out there wanted to start a podcast, write a book, paint something, just do it because you feel like doing it and see what happens.
That's a great tip. And it's true, right? Just take action on if you want to do it, just go ahead, right? And not have to worry about the results. So I appreciate that. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I would say that every moment was a reaction. It was a reaction to my environment. It was reaction to what people thought of me and the reaction of what I thought of myself because of both those things. And so it all just rolled into one reaction ball, I would say.
Awesome. And like when you mention reaction, like in a like positive way, in a negative way, or
I don't necessarily would judge it as positive or negative. It's just different. I think when you're in a reactive mode, you don't have time to think for yourself and to find who you are in the midst of the situation you're in. And so being in a reactive mode was a contrast to when I did find some sliver of confidence, and that's when proactivity and creating the life I wanted started.
Awesome. So when was that like aha moment of yours when you realized you can be proactive and be able to create the life that you wanted?
I would say there have been several ahas. One of them was realizing that I was just as capable as anybody else. I did not grow up in privilege or, actually we were quite in poverty in the Philippines. And somehow my mom had figured out how to send me to a private elite school. But she never really let me socialize with my classmates. So I only knew my classmates within the confines of the school walls. And that meant, grades and sports and pranks and all those things you did as a kid. And so I excelled, I failed, I pranked, I fought with people, I laughed with people. And it really wasn't until when I found out I was coming to America, she had let me go over who at the time was my best friend's house. And she had a house that had 3 floors in a gated community with maids climbing out of the walls, drivers. And I was like, whoa, okay, wow. And I lived in like a box on a street, like this tiny place. There was like 5 of us. There wasn't really even bedrooms. It was just literally this square building, tiny little building. And I never knew I was different from other people. But then I didn't really care. Like, I didn't really buy into the story that I was different from them economically. I was doing all the same things that they were doing. And so, to me, I think I got lucky, being so sheltered in that sense that I didn't have the opportunity to buy into the story of poverty or what I didn't have and just went with what I could do.
That's great that you were able to, have a positive effect of that your mother, just, didn't make you, go do things right after school. You were just confined in that school, and then it helped you realize, like, it didn't matter whether you lived in a box or a 3-floor mansion. You were just as capable as the person who did live in the three-floor mansion. So,
absolutely.
And, so after that realization, like, what's your life like now?
I would say every moment is just an opportunity to create. And knowing that, I still have times where I react because life happens, right? But the ratio of it would be if reactive life and a proactive creating kind of life, if I was to put a ratio on it, then it was 20-80, Right now it's 20-80. I react to 20% of stuff that happens, and 80% of the time I'm creating something. Whereas before this, it would be even going to 90-10, 90% of my day would be reacting to everybody else's stuff. Whether it's good or bad, I'm just reacting to them. And 10% of me creating something for me. So it's a remarkably different way of being. And it's almost like Twilight Zone sometimes because I'm almost 2 different people because my life is so different.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, it's funny that, not a lot of people really talk about, being reactive and, being in just this journey of trying to find ourselves. We forget how sometimes we can react to things really quickly, and we just have to learn how to be more proactive in the things that we create. So I really love that, you brought this topic up. So I think it's something that not too many people talk about.
And I think that whatever that ratio is for you, I think you have to fight for the proactivity. if your life was like mine, where 90% of the time you were reacting to something else and you're only creating for 10%, then fight for that 10%, until one day that 10% grows to 11, to 12, to 13.
Yeah, I love that. Just taking small baby steps, right? These small wins, because they just, you track more wins in your life. So
yeah,
I appreciate that. And, to the woman who's listening to this podcast, right? She's listening to your story and she's on her own journey to self-confidence. What would be like your one tip that you would give to her?
The one tip I'd give to her is that confidence is not the answer to everything. So to not really get hung up on the concept of it, and because it's only really one piece of the puzzle as to who you are. And I think that you should be as confident into the parts that you know about you, right? And you should be equally confident about the parts you don't know about you. So being confident in your knowing and being just as confident in the not knowing. Because we have a tendency to hide because we don't know something. And I think that's where really the part where there's a lot of room for courage to play and to come into the picture. And so for the woman who is not sure or what to do and all of that, treat everything the same. Meaning, don't judge yourself about knowing yourself or not knowing yourself or how much you don't know about yourself. It's just a journey and it's a continuous one. So question everything. Don't accept everything as a given. I did this when I became a mother, and it really affected my confidence as a mother because there were certain things that I slid into socially and culturally because that's what everybody else did. I never realized that perhaps, sleeping in the bed with my kid would not work for me. It's just that that's what everybody else did, right? But I was getting miserable and questioning myself every step of the way as a new mom because I never questioned, is that even right for me, right? And so you got to take a look at everything you're doing as, is this for me? Is this my truth? Even the smallest thing. And I think that would really lead you, every time you question something, it would lead you closer to you. And so that's all I've got.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that tip. And it's so true, right? I mean, every single action we take can really affect us, just being in our own journey or just learning to find confidence in ourselves, whether we know it or not, especially if we don't trust ourselves a lot on certain things, it really hinders us from taking that action. So I appreciate that advice you gave. And, if the listeners want to get to know a little bit more of what you do, a little bit more about the things that you're doing right now, is there a website that we can go to or any social media profiles we can link with?
Oh, you can just look me up on alanreed.com. I'm also on Instagram at The Woman Being is my user handle. I'm on Facebook. I can easily be found on social media and, of course, my email, which is alan@sherpapress.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to the listeners, you can also just head over to the taoofselfconfidence.com. You can search for Alan's name and her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I just really want to thank Alan for taking her time to just share her story and share her tips on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Well, this is really quite an honor, and I hope to hear all about you and your stories because that's what this is all about.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And to the listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for connecting with us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetaoofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more.